Welcome to this episode of the Essence of Leadership series. Today I have Miss Alicia Roberts with me, and I'm so excited to have you. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So let's just dive into this bio so we can get into this interview.
Hmm.
Miss Alicia Roberts is a resilient woman who has triumphed over heartbreak and life's changes, balancing the roles of a single mom, corporate finance professional, and entrepreneur. She remains committed to empowering women and helping them get unstuck. She is currently a CFO at Girl Scouts. In 2020, she founded The Confident Lily, a global personal development company dedicated to unleashing women's personal power and transforming lives. She blends faith, practicality, to guide them through emotional healing and confidence building so that they can begin to prioritize their dreams and aspirations. Alicia Renee is not just a typical finance professional and best-selling author, but she's also a YouVersion author, speaker, host of the She Exudes Now podcast, and a certified inner healing and confidence coach. Now, Alicia, that is awesome. I'm so excited. I can't wait till we get into this interview. So, I guess I'll start, Alicia. Tell me a little bit about your journey to becoming that CFO, to becoming the founder of the Confident Lily. What was that like for
Hmm.
you?
Yes. So I have been in finance for about almost 20 years now. I graduated from Indiana University with a degree in finance and real estate. Some years later, went back and got my MBA in accounting and have been doing accounting and finance type work for all of those years. I would say within the last 7 years, I felt a nudging and more like a calling to
Mhm.
help women in particular, to help them overcome challenges in life, to help them kind of get unstuck, especially when it comes to emotional trauma, and just having the courage and the confidence to just be resilient, to push on, to capitalize on their dreams. And so that nudge and calling really spoke to me just from some of the personal things that I endured in life. For example, having walked through divorce and being a single mother and knowing how difficult it can be to just do life and still be a professional, still have a social life, still do all the things. And so I wanted to really encourage women to just keep going and to use their faith to be able to do so. And so in 2020, the fall of 2020, I founded the Confident Lily, which you mentioned earlier. And it is a personal development company to help women to be able to do just that. I did not know that in founding it, at the time, it was just to write, just to write a devotional. But I did not know that in doing so, I would later get a certification to be a life coach, and I would have a podcast and all of these wonderful things, speaking opportunities. And so my life has really evolved out of taking a chance, being bold to try something different, to step out of what was the norm for me, to be more of a behind the scenes type of person. And I love helping businesses thrive in their finances, and so taking a turn to follow a passion. That's how the Confident Lily was started.
Wow. And you hit the nail on the head with everything you shared about the challenges you endured, because that is the reason I created this platform, the essence of leadership, because
Mhm.
typically people or women specifically in leadership roles, you don't see the struggle, you don't hear about the
Mhm.
struggle. Is,
Mhm.
Miss Roberts has made it to, XYZ role in the, in the organization, or her company is, Inc. 500 or whatnot. No one talks about the challenges, the divorce, the challenges of being a single mom, that adjustment on your kids and what that was like. No one talks about that. And
Mm-hmm.
which makes me excited to ask you, what was that like? And let me make sure I'm asking the question correctly. When you were going through all of those changes in your life, what was that leadership journey like for you? Like, how did it impact you going to work every day?
Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, there was a point in my career where I just had to do, what was required. I didn't
Right,
step out of the box to take on any new leadership responsibilities. I still maintained the job functions and the interactions that I had with directors that I supported, but I wasn't, stepping outside of the box to do anything new and audacious,
right,
because you have to have balance in your life. You have to
right,
know when this is the right season to push, and when this is the right season to just be.
right.
So there was a time in my life where I did that.
Yeah, and that's understandable. And I think that's the part that people don't get the kudos for.
Mm.
But to be a leader, it's all encompassing. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just one facet of Alicia, like it's everything
Right.
that, is a part of your life. So I guess I'll ask you if you could give me like a rough estimate. How long were you in, and not necessarily one leadership roles, but how long have you been working as a leader overall?
I've been working as a leader overall for about 10 years. And so that has evolved with various positions.
Mhm.
As far as being the CFO with the Girl Scouts, I've been in this role for just a little over a year, but about 10 years of leadership experience total.
That is awesome. So, with that being said, I'm quite sure you have this. So, um, how did you go about measuring success? And it doesn't have to be today, but just in general, when you stepped
Mm-hmm.
into that role, like that first time, if you could remember,
Mm-hmm.
what made you say, you know what? I think I'm successful.
Mm-hmm. So, as a person that is a professional in finance or accounting, we're numbers driven. So
Mhm.
we measure success very finitely, and it is, do we deliver accurate and timely information, and are we preparing budgets and strategic plans that help to support the organization. So there are clear results there. I think what has always warmed my heart and helped with some of the industries that I worked in, for example, the hospital industry, or even for, the Girl Scouts now. I work with individuals that do not have a finance background. When I'm speaking to them, they, may sometimes think that I'm speaking a foreign language. And so I would measure the results on how well am I able to articulate and to support those leaders so that they can focus on what matters to them the most.
Right.
They can push those buttons and make those calls that they need to for the operations. And we are one conducive team, but I'm helping them to reach their goals as well.
That is awesome that you say that. It's like your segue into my next question. When it comes to like engaging teams, and that can be such a strong word these days, team
Mm.
engagement. What does that look like for you on a typical day? And let me add a little to that. I know you have your CFO job, but even in the Confident Lily, like
Mhm.
engaging partners, what does that look like for you?
It's, I think that whenever you are working as a team, there's always going to be a leader, or there's always
Right.
going to be someone who maybe doesn't understand how their role plays into this whole team success thing. And so for me, it's making people feel comfortable, reassuring that they are important, and that their success is part of the greater success for the team, and making sure that we are communicating in a succinct way. So, I mentioned before, working with some of the leaders that were in other departments and other operational fields, they don't necessarily speak the same way that I would from a technical background, but I would do the same for other people as well. And then even with my coaching business, it is letting them know that I am here to help, that they can trust me. It's having that empathy. And I believe empathy goes a long way in the professional world as well, to let people know that I hear you and I understand. This is how I'm articulating it. And let's do this together. Let's fix this problem together.
Yeah, that is so important to have that engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, like for me, working in, I'll say the leadership space, doing coaching in, especially today with all of the change with people, working in the hybrid environments, it has been challenging for some folk to find that level of engagement that works
Mm-hmm.
for everyone. And to your point is, I think one of them is making sure people feel safe in whatever
Mm-hmm.
that environment is, and being able to I guess feel a place where they can share their honest opinions and be authentic, and but
Right.
still yet respectful in the workplace. I think that brings so much more of an open type environment for communication
Right.
where
Mm-hmm.
everyone can feel heard. And I can tell you, when I'm out there coaching, most people just want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And with so much change in the work environment, maybe you're hybrid this month, next month you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know what that looks like. And with your mindset being that, I can see how you have been able to create an environment of engagement within the Confident Lily, as well as your
Mm-hmm.
CFO role with Girl Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for sharing that. And the
Yep.
other thing I wanted to kind of hit on was, when you think about that first leadership role, what were some things that you wish you would have known when you started? And it might be one or two things, because, and I ask you that because most new leaders, new and emerging leaders, when they get a role, they're like, I should have been promoted last week. I don't know why you're waiting to promote me. And then they
Mm-hmm.
realize it's things they didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that my first leadership, I started off as a supervisor, and I was working for a contract, a workforce contract for the state. And, I jumped into it happy and enthusiastic, but I did not truly understand all of the metrics in place. I didn't truly understand what was required so that this project could be sustainable and that it could thrive. This was a 3-year project with the state, and if it was not successful, the state would not renew the
Right.
contract. And so, with limited resources, I felt, sometimes lost with the expectation and then having to catch up and try to figure it out. And that
Mm-hmm.
creates more stress. So I think that, sometimes we are very anxious to move up to the next level, but we need to understand truly what's going to be required of us, what resources will be in place to help us get there, and also what our team will look like too, what the strengths of the team will be, because we can't do everything on our own.
Right. Oh my gosh. I think you said so much there, because, and I think it's the excitement of being in
Mm-hmm.
the new role. And to your point, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, when I'm working with new and emerging leaders, they're like, Demetra, I got this, until you're in it, right? When the rubber
Yes.
meets the road. And there's some that haven't even defined their leadership styles yet.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to engage with their teams yet, because guess what? They don't have a relationship with these people.
Right. Uh-huh.
Or maybe they were a part of the team and now you're the leader of the team. That's a different mindset.
That's true.
And having those shifts can sometimes determine your future going forward. To your point,
Mm-hmm.
on your
Mm-hmm.
project, they're like, if you don't get this done, then we're not renewing this.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sharing that, because those aren't topics, Alicia, that people talk about. Um, Something else I wanted to ask you too, when you talked about your challenges earlier and just coming to work, just showing up, doing what is
Right.
required, how were you able to handle those setbacks? Like, what would be some tips that you would share with somebody if they were going through some hardship, but still yet trying to maintain their leadership role?
Mm-hmm. One of the tips I mentioned earlier is to take a realistic look at your schedule, your abilities, and the tasks that you're responsible for. Don't be afraid to delegate and give someone else a chance to handle something for you. Give them a chance, maybe a learning opportunity to do some of the work that can be passed on to someone else. And I would also say, don't be afraid of failure. Sometimes we look at failure as being this horrible thing. And I know for me, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, even though I don't like to admit it. I like to get it right, and I like to get it right the first time. Unfortunately, that's not how things always operate. And so failure is not necessarily a bad thing. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to move forward and say, okay, well, now I know not to do that. And so it's just a growing opportunity. And so if you're in an environment where you are allowed to learn and make some mistakes and grow from it, that will be very conducive to you learning and very conducive to you being able to handle some things maybe in your personal life,
Right.
because you're in an environment where people understand. And so that would be something too that I would look at as a leader, a new and emerging leader, is what is the environment? What is the expectation from me?
Oh yeah, and you just pull my card when you start talking about failure because that
Hmm.
comes up in so many coaching sessions. Everybody wants to get it right the first time. Everybody wants to uh, feel celebrated when it comes to
Hmm.
moving to that next level. And I typically challenge people, to your point, to look at failure as an opportunity. It
Hmm.
doesn't define who you are. It doesn't dictate your future. It was merely an experience.
Right.
And I challenge people to look at it that way because we've had countless experiences in our lives. Some worked for our good, some didn't feel so good at the time, right?
Hmm.
But we were all able to move forward. And you move forward with something that impacted your life, right? You have a different perspective on some things. And I even challenged them to change the definition of failure. Like I
Hmm.
totally changed it, Alicia, and I'll share mine with you. Mine is failure is a privilege reserved for those who are brave enough to try.
I
And
like that.
thank you. I say that because there's so many people on the sidelines telling Alicia how to lead her new team, what she should be doing, but you're on the sidelines,
Hmm.
right? So talk to me when you're in the leadership game, right? Talk to
Yeah.
me when you're out here side by side and we're partners. And there's so many people, I mean, even in personal lives, there's so many people that fear failure, but will challenge your insight while you're in the game, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. So
Hmm.
definitely thank you for sharing that. Something else I wanted to ask you about was when it comes to today, I guess winning, right? In the current day of Confident Lily, the current
Hmm.
day of being the CFO of Girl Scouts, what dictates a win for you?
You said, what does it take to win?
What determines like, hey, I'm winning now. Like I'm
Oh,
closing this
right.
month out or Q2 or
Hmm.
whatever that is with a win.
Yes. And so I would say probably with my work with the Girl Scouts, it's for us in finance, it's very project driven. We have an annual calendar that has, several events that take place within the year. So obviously getting those things done and getting those things done accurately and timely. But also it's the stretch moments where we have created a new process, where we have, saved our council tons of money, or we have received funds from outside sources. Those are definitely wins. And, even not on a grander scheme, even on a smaller scheme, when I have, a leader that says, thank you so much for this report. Thank you for helping me understand my budget. Those are moments that warm my heart as well. And I definitely consider those to be wins because again, I'm actually helping them to do their job better. And then of course, when it comes to the coaching business or even the writing that I do, when I receive the compliments of how much something has touched them, for example, a devotional, I had someone tell me that they felt like I was talking directly to them as they were reading it. Again, that warms my heart because I'm just doing what I can do. So it's more of the servant leader perspective, doing what I can do to give back and help someone else.
That is awesome. And you really putting it out there like somebody telling me thank you means something. And sometimes that's so discounted. Like think
Right.
about maybe the last time you were in the office or maybe walking somewhere, maybe out. Someone says, "How are you?" We're still walking. We never stop to say, "Oh, I'm good," and you, right?
Yeah.
We're just like good. Or if you say it, you barely even looked at the person, right? So for you to say, for you to even acknowledge, like, yeah, this person just said thank you. I didn't just say, well, you welcome and kept moving. That warmed your heart because you, of course, have that servant leadership about you.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
that says a lot about who you are, how you are able to show up at Girl Scouts in the light that you are, and how you were consistently able to give to your family as well as showing up for all of your clients at the Confident Lily. So thank you for sharing that.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, and something else. You've been answering all of my questions before I could get to them. What do you believe it takes to keep you showing up in the light that you're showing up, meaning the learning, the consistency, the giving that extra 5 minutes to someone who has a question about their budget, or that client that you said, man, that devotion touched me. Like, what does it take for you to keep showing up like that?
For me to keep showing up personally, I need to feel that I am entwined, I am ingrained in the mission, and that I'm getting those moments of satisfaction. For example, when I just shared with the thank yous, or,
Right.
Oh, yes, we accomplished that, or seeing a client have a breakthrough moment, those are all the internal wins because I'm tied to that mission. But I'm also a person that loves to learn. I'm a person that loves to try new things. And so when I can try new things and explore, when I can, get those additional continuing education classes, that just adds to my learning experience. It adds to my value. And eventually it adds to what I'm able to share with others and help others do.
Right. That hunger for learning, I think, continues to make us better people overall, right? Better coaches, and you're able to share more insight and wisdom with people as you're having those conversations. So yeah, that I think that says a lot for our journey of growth.
Yes.
Yeah. One last thing as we're about to come to a close. Like what is, I guess, two things that you would share with someone who's in a leadership role now and maybe it's a little challenging for them? What is like two things you would say to them that could kind of push them along their journey?
For one, definitely I would say integrity, 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 integrity. You know, don't lose it, don't forget it, because people value it. They're looking, they're watching. It's in the work that you do. It's how you show up and you interact with those that you work with or your staff. Um, you know, and so integrity is big. Also, you know, there are moments where we don't know it all and we don't have it all figured out. There are moments that you may need to step outside of the box and you may be called upon to do something new, and it might be a little intimidating for you. I have always had as my personal mantra the saying of do it afraid. And I added on, do it afraid until you are no longer afraid. So
Right.
you just have to step out there and do it. I know sometimes that is scary, but that is the only way that you're going to get out of your comfort zone and begin to not only learn more, but to create more change.
Right, right, right. Um, you totally embody the essence of leadership with handling the setbacks,
Oh, yes.
taking them, just taking those moments because
Mhm,
I caught myself the other day, Alicia. Someone said, "Hey, how are you?" And I was about to take that next step and I stopped and
mhm,
I said, "I'm good. And how about you?" The
mhm.
woman just looked back like, "Wait a minute." Because to your point, most people are not expecting you to respond back with that. It's, you
Mhm,
got your stuff and you're moving. So thank you for sharing those nuggets and
mhm,
being transparent about the journey of leadership, that it wasn't always easy. You've had these
mhm.
setbacks, but we're still able to climb that leadership ladder to get to
Yes.
becoming the CFO of Girl Scouts and still having a great coaching business. It's
Mhm,
not easy.
mhm.
It's not
Not at
easy.
all.
Thank you for sharing that and for you with everything that you're doing, impacting the finance industry in such a great way by being able to explain budgets. Now I know what I need to buy. I know who I can hire. Like I know all of these
Mhm,
things now. So I appreciate you for everything that you
mhm.
do. And I will tell you, in my opinion, you are a woman who is history in the making with
Thank you.
everything that you're doing. So thank you so much for your time. And one last thing before we wrap up, would you like to share how people can connect with you if there's any questions about the Confident Lily?
Mhm. Yes, sure. So if you have any questions, you need some support, accountability. I also have free resources covering a variety of different topics. You can find them all at www.confidentlily, like the flower, Lily, .com. So confidentlily.com. You can also reach me on Instagram and Facebook at The Confident Lily. And if you are looking to partner with the Girl Scouts, or if you're wanting your child to become a Girl Scout, you can also go to girlscouts.org.
Now, I gotta second you on that. There's
Mhm.
everything about being a Girl Scout is awesome. I was a
Yes,
Girl Scout, so I'm telling
awesome.
everybody,
I was too. So
you got to
good things
show
come
up
out
for the
of
Girl Scouts now.
it.
They're not just at cookie time, okay?
Yes,
You got to
absolutely.
show
Not
up.
just at
So
cookie time.
thank you so much, Alicia, for your time, and I look forward to staying connected with you.
All right. Thank you.